Yo, what's up guys? CJ here with another Back for Blood build. This one is the Hungry Heng build. It's a kind of mix between being a melee tank and a chef. Yes, you heard that right. It's Gordon Ramsay but in Back for Blood. I don't know how else to put it. It's insane. For whatever reason, it's a bit of a zany build. It's mainly for fun, in my opinion. You can play it with no hope difficulty and play it online with your friends, but I would say that they definitely need to watch out for you because you're going to be swinging bats and claws around like a madman. Also, additionally, just to give a shout out to the YouTube crew, I honestly am lost for words. Like, we're at 172 subscribers so far, and my goal for 5 days time, so you know, my goal for then was to hit 100. So you've beaten the goal by like 72 already. So I'm honestly, it's insane for me. Thank you guys so much for the love, the support. Thank you for the subs and for just spending the time watching the videos. I hope that you enjoyed, and I really enjoy seeing your input and feedback. So if you do have an idea of which card should go where, or I didn't like this card so I swapped it out with that card, let me know, because I really like your perspective on the different builds. Anyway guys, that's it for the shout outs. Let's get over and have a look at the build. So before we go into the build, I just want to caveat this by saying that there's a couple of different things that you need to know about when playing this build to be able to use it most effectively. So first thing is that we have the cards Wasteland Chef and Combat Knife in this build. Now, Wasteland Chef, if you don't know what it is, it gives you the ability to make mediocre meals and gourmet meals by meleeing different food items in the game. So, without further ado, let's get into the build and we'll explain some of the cards as we go through it. As we have done previously, we go through these in a 5x5x5 format, so let's have a look at the first set of 5 cards. So, the first set of 5 cards we have, number 1, is Wasteland Chef, then Combat Knife, then Food Scavenger, then Meth Head, and then Mean Drunk. Now, of course, I will caveat this by saying that you can play this either melee or shotgun tank build. That's completely up to you. I went for the melee because I really like it, but it's completely up to you which one you go with. So let's go over the first set of 5 cards. So Wasteland Chef is what I just explained. It's going to give you the ability to melee food to create gourmet dinners and mediocre meals. Now, if you use a Combat Knife, which is our second card, it's going to increase your odds of getting a gourmet dinner. Now, for those of you who don't care about the statistics of this, just skip forwards a couple of seconds. Those of you who do, listen closely. So by default, the chance of creating a gourmet dinner is around 30%, and the chance of creating a mediocre meal is 70%. Now, if you have the Combat Knife card, the chance of creating the gourmet dinner increases to 40%, and the chance of creating the mediocre meal decreases to 60%. Now, one thing I will say as well, and it's really important, is that if you're going to make a meal out of the food item that you see, please be aware that it loses the original attributes. So for instance, if you have, so let's say you have peaches that gives you 5 health and 5 trauma, and you decide to convert that into a meal, and you get the mediocre meal, that will lose the 5 trauma health and only give you the 5 health, because that's what the mediocre meal does. If you get the gourmet dinner, however, you're going to gain an additional 3 health and 3 trauma health, and the 3 max health on top as well. So be aware, because things like the green beans, things like that, you want to stack up early into a level, and then once you have a couple of the buffs running for you, that's when you want to start stabbing the meals and letting your teammates consume your wonderful product of the wasteland. Moving on to the third card, Food Scavenger. Now, Food Scavenger is pretty self-explanatory. All it means is that you are going to sense nearby foods. You're going to be able to add a moderate amount of food into the world, so you're going to get more food spawns again. Yes, it does stack with Heng's passive of more food as well. It also means that food items are going to restore an additional 3 health benefit on whatever they do. Then we have the Meth Head card. Now the Meth Head card, you've seen it in my previous melee build. It means that it's going to give you a stacking melee attack speed, melee stamina efficiency, and it's going to stack that up to 10 times, which means that you are going to have up to 50% of both. Then finally, Mean Drunk, which is a 40% melee damage upgrade, and your melee attacks are going to cleave, which gives it a wider arc and means you can kill more enemies in a wider arc and faster. And that is the first set of 5 cards, guys. So again, some of these cards you can swap out. If you would rather do the shotgun tank with Heng, etc., you can 100% do that. You've seen the shotgun tank build that I've run before. You can just stack those cards and that will work for you just as well. Now moving on to the second set of cards, so these ones are going to kind of be your additional essential cards, so let's get into them. The first one will be Ignore the Pain, then Heavy Hitter, then Berserker, then Battle Lust, and then Slugger. Ignore the Pain is going to give you a 20% melee damage uplift against mutations. So you've seen it in my card builds before with regards to a melee build. Any Tall Boys, any Pus Throwers, any of the mutations, you're going to gain 20% damage. And also, while you're attacking these guys, you're going to gain 2 health and 3 stamina back while smacking them in the face. Then, Heavy Hitter. Now, Heavy Hitter is going to mean that anything you smack for the first time will guaranteed stumble the first time you hit it. This is really useful for if a crusher is trying to grab you, or if one of the enemies is trying to jump onto your teammate. You can hit it and it will stumble it guaranteed the first time you hit it, which might just save you or your teammate. The next card is Berserker. Now Berserker is great for dealing with the hordes because basically each kill that you get, you're going to gain a 5% melee damage buff, a 5% melee speed buff, and a 5% move speed buff for 4 seconds while you're killing things. It'll refresh each time you kill things, and it means you're going to attack that much quicker. Now if you keep on stacking it, if you kill say 6 things in a row with 1 melee strike, that's 30% of each of those that you're going to be running. So you're going to gain 30% melee damage and 30% melee speed for 4 seconds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you've got a huge amount of them in front of you, you'll definitely know the uplift, especially from the base speed. Then we have Battle Lust. This one's really simple. It's just 1 health back and 0.125 trauma each time you kill a Ridden. And then last one is Slugger, and Slugger is for the 5% health, the 10% melee stamina efficiency, and 20% melee attack speed. The main reason for this, rather than something like Brazen, which would give you 15% melee stamina efficiency, is because of the 5% health. It's just a bit of an uplift that can just help you soak that little bit more damage. And that's the second set of 5 cards, guys. Let's move on to the final set and then get into the weapons and the character for being able to use this build. So the first one here is going to be Adrenaline Fueled, then Breakout, then Spiky Bits, then Wooden Armor, and finally my favorite for any tank build, scar tissue. Now the first one, Adrenaline Fueled, is to give you a stamina uplift, so anytime you kill an enemy you're going to gain 5 stamina back, and you're going to regen 7 stamina over 7 seconds. That's 1 stamina a second whilst you're killing Ridden, and it'll stack up to 5 times. So that'll combo with your cleave, so if you hit 5 enemies in once, you're going to gain the max amount of stacks for your stamina regen. Then we've got Breakout. Now I've added Breakout in purely because usually I play these offline and on my own rather than with somebody else. If you do happen to have a teammate and you're more comfortable with them saving you, if you do get grabbed, then you can swap it out and add in something like Brazen or another tank card like Motorcycle Jacket, etc., just to make you a little bit more hench. As we now know, Heng is apparently a hench boy. Anyway, next card, Spiky Bits, is going to be an uplift of 15 melee damage, and whilst you're using a melee weapon you're going to gain 20% damage resistance, which is huge. The next card, Wooden Armor, is 30% trauma resistance. Now that is the downside of the 100% fire resistance debuff. However, realistically speaking, it can be kind of mitigated if you get the Damnation Shotgun, etc. Then it doesn't matter, because that just makes you immune to fire damage regardless. Then the last card, Scar Tissue. It is one of my favorites. The Scar Tissue is just one of the best, and the reason why is because it's just 1 less damage from all Ridden, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you take 1 less damage and there's 10 Ridden, that's 10 less damage that you are taking, which is, well, look at it, it's a 10th of your health if you have 100 health. Or if you have 200 health, it's 5% of your health. But even so, that's still a huge amount. If you're being able to tank out 5% of your max health, that's ridiculous amounts of healing. And then you also have the 50% acid resistance, and for some reason in No Hope difficulty there's just acid everywhere a lot of the time. There is fire a lot of the time as well, but generically fire doesn't leave pools on the floor, but acid does, so yeah, that's why Scar Tissue over any sort of fire resistance, etc. Anyway guys, that's the full set of 15 cards. I know some people will go, what the heck is he using those cards for? Or, you know, they might have their own opinions as to what cards go there. That's completely fine. I'm more than willing to listen to anything you guys have to say with regards to what cards should go where, etc. And of course, objectively, there'll be some people that are right. There'll be different cards that suit different playstyles. There'll be different cards that suit my playstyle. This is just to help you along the way of building a kind of a fun and insane build, because imagine you're in the middle of the zombie apocalypse and you turn around and you just see, you know, Heng stood there with a chef's hat on and an apron, stabbing away at the food cans and making them into a roast dinner out of the blue. It's insane, but that's the kind of insane we expect from a kind of PvE game, and honestly I'm all for it. I'm hoping the next thing will be that he just pops out like a mini barbecue or something like that, you know, and just puts a couple of steaks on there and he's like, yeah, let's go dude, no problem, you know. But hey, that's wishful thinking, I think. Anyway guys, let's move on to weapons. Now the weapon I was running was the baseball bat with Heng at the start, because you just gain one at the start of Act 1 anyway, so you can just grab it, but also because it takes a low amount of melee stamina and it's super fast. Now as soon as you can, you want to be switching that out for some claws. The claws, they just are the best. Like it doesn't matter how many people go, oh, but the fire axe or the tiny hatchet or whatever. No, claws hands down, until they pull out something that's going to be even better. Then of course we move on to the one, the only cleaner to be able to play this with. Now this is Heng. Of course, Heng has the ability to restore an additional trauma when consuming any foods, and he's going to gain the effects of foods that other cleaners eat. He increases the amount of food spawns, and for each food that's consumed, he gains 1 health and 1 stamina for each food. Now, Heng is great because of those facts, because you can just go through the map and you don't even have to make the gourmet meals or the mediocre meals. You can just eat, just consume every item, and you'll still gain health. I personally think if you make a gourmet dinner and you gain the 3 health, that's a bonus, because you would have to eat 3 food items to be able to get the equivalent. But generically, you could just eat everything. You could just be absolutely going ham on that, no problems. The other benefit as well is that other people can eat the food that you produce. So if you make gourmet dinners, they can eat it and you'll gain the benefits too, which in my opinion is a no-brainer. It's amazing. Just let your buddies eat as well and you gain it too. It's insane. Anyway guys, that is it for the build for Hungry Heng. I hope you enjoy. It is a build not necessarily to be taken too seriously. It can really work on things like veteran or no hope difficulties. You just have to play it a bit safe sometimes, and obviously eat everything. Just eat everything, all of it, everything. Cereal bars, you know, the green beans, the peaches, everything. All of the items, just consume. And yeah, I hope you have fun, and I will see you guys in the new year. I don't believe that we'll be able to get another build uploaded before Christmas time, as we are kind of getting close to that time now. We're on the 20th that I'm recording this on, so by the time it uploads it's going to be Friday. So yeah, so it's going to be Christmas time and then into the new year when the next video uploads. So beforehand, I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and thank you so much for the love and support again. Catch you later. Peace out.